What's going on, my 122 subscribers? In this video today, it's been a while since I made a video, but in this video today, I wanted to take the time to give you guys a little tour of the fish room. I've got some projects in the works for new videos, and I wanted to get your opinion on some things, as well as show you kind of everything in here. Some of the animals, the fish, the plants. So it's gonna be a pretty laid back video today. Sit back and let's walk through the fish room. So this is the 90-gallon tank. This has my angelfish, roseline barbs, some tetras, a couple random rasboras, pictus catfish, some autocinclus cats, and some hillstream loaches, 3 of those. And right now I really need to take some of these red root floaters off the top. As you can see, there's a lot of light being blocked. It's good for nutrient export, and I've got plenty of plants in the back. I've got a monstera over here, some variegated pothos, and then I have an air plant. It's a Tillandsia xerographica, in case you were wondering. And then the 125, this monstera is like creeping into the tank. I had to move it because I rearranged a lot of stuff in here. So this monstera is just sitting on this 54-gallon corner tank. So in this tank, we had 3 tangs. I had an orange shoulder tang that recently got stuck in a rock, and it's a hiding spot that he's hid in many times. And I think he either got a little too big, or he somehow got in there differently than he used to. Couldn't have been more than 12 hours. I came out here and didn't notice him swimming around, so I looked and I saw a little tail sticking out. That kind of makes me want to take this rock structure down slightly to make the openings a little bigger. As these tangs get bigger, they won't be able to fit in some of these holes anymore. Like my blue tang loves to go in the holes, and I really don't want the same thing to happen to him. So yeah, something's probably gonna have to be changed with this tank, because I don't like losing fish, and I'd like to buy another orange shoulder or something else, but if another fish gets stuck on a rock, that's really gonna suck. Other than that, we've got a blue tang, a sailfin tang, 2 clownfish, a firefish, 1 chromis, a yellow watchman goby, a coral banded shrimp, and I think we still have it, a pistol shrimp. We put it in probably a year ago, seen it multiple times, we'd hear it clicking, and then past few months I really haven't heard it clicking, and I haven't seen it. So hopefully he's still in there. If not, that's a shame. There's the coral banded shrimp. This dude's going on like 4 years, maybe even longer than that. He's huge, and they don't actually live that long. I kind of forget what the average lifespan of these. I'll put it on the screen. He's crazy. He goes after all the fish. And in case you're wondering about the glass, I didn't touch any of this, didn't clean any of this off before the video because I wanted to talk about it. So I want this channel to be really authentic. All of the issues that I have, I want to tell you guys about. I don't want to just gloss over or make it seem like I don't have any problems, because everyone in this hobby, and most hobbies, have things that don't go right. And either you talk about it or you just pretend they don't happen. And so everything looks like you're doing stuff perfectly, and then your viewers just think that maybe they're doing things wrong, when in reality everyone has problems. And it's good to be transparent. So I want to show you guys exactly what kind of things I'm going through, so that we can both learn from them. Hopefully you guys can learn from my mistakes and not make them yourself. With this, a few months ago I did a cleaning, and I didn't really notice it much before then. There was a little bit of this dark red algae, I guess we'll call it algae, just below the sand right up against the glass. And I went through and cleaned it all. Some of these spots didn't really have any, but I went through, pulled some of the sand away from the glass, cleaned it, and then, it looks a lot nicer when it's white. So anyway, after I did that, I noticed that it got a lot worse. These little round spots, that's going to be coralline algae. It's so hard to tell because, like, in my sump, like, you can easily see, like, spots. And that's coralline algae. That's just a lot thicker, so then it makes me think that this stuff is not the same. So to really figure out what this is, it could be one of 2 things, or, I guess it could be more than one thing, but it could be dinoflagellates, or it could be cyanobacteria. And there are a few clues that I've gotten over the last few weeks that lead me to believe it's dinoflagellates, or actually that it's I don't really know, because let me tell you what's up. So cyanobacteria can kill invertebrates. And I had some snails in here, which recently they died. If this is cyanobacteria, that could have been the cause. They were really old snails, so not sure exactly there. Dinoflagellants, I guess, usually smells. I don't notice the smell at all. This tank smells clean, the water smells fresh. Dinoflagellates usually comes from nutrients being too low, not enough phosphate, nitrate, like an imbalance of both. I guess it could be from more than one thing. But I tested my water with it's not the best test kit. It's just like an API liquid test kit, which can give you an idea of the problem. But my phosphates were very low, and my nitrates were probably around 5, maybe 5 to 10. Definitely lower than 10. So it's not too much nutrients. And I have a refugium down here, which is probably doing too good. It's probably doing too good of a job because the nutrients are so low, which could be causing this. I don't really feed the tank that much because there's not that many fish in there. So for the water volume and for the nutrients coming out of the refugium with the chaeto that I harvest every week or every 2 weeks, which is a lot of chaeto, it could be dinoflagellates. But the best way, I guess, to figure out which it is to take a sample and put it under a microscope. And the two look different. And also, the treatments for both are different as well, so you really wouldn't want to think you're treating one and treat the other, because obviously if your nutrients are too low and that's what's causing one, if you lower them even more or don't do anything, then that's not really going to solve the problem. If the nutrients are too high and you think it's the opposite, so you add nutrients, so that's obviously not going to solve the problem either. We'll do this today. I'll scrape some out, put it under the microscope, and we'll see exactly what it is. But it really just looks like this slight haze on the glass. It really, from the outside, looks like just some diatoms on the glass, but on the surface of the sand. We'll try to figure out what that is today. I'll clean the glass, and it'll look a lot better after that. I've had this blue-green chromis for probably 3 or 4 years. I had a group of them in this 54-gallon corner tank. I want to get more in the future. They just really need to, and I haven't had any in this 125, so they need to be in bigger groups, and they have to have enough swimming room, or they will just pick on each other until there's one left, which this is the guy that's left. And part of my reservation for getting more right now is, one, I don't want to lose this guy because I've had him forever. So if I throw 20 more in here, they're gonna mix up, I won't know which is which, and then, well, if he dies, I'll be sad. In the future, he might be moved to a smaller tank. If I put a bunch in here and they're all doing fine and they don't kill each other, I might put him back in. Something like that. I basically want more of them, or maybe another kind of anthias. I like schooling fish, so if we had some more of those, that'd be cool. All the tangs are really healthy. The clownfish are cool. The female is so big. I'll need to eventually get some more hermit crabs. All of my hermit crabs have been around for probably going on 5 years. There's maybe 5 or 6 left in here, maybe less, maybe 3. So we could definitely do for some more hermits. I've got blue legs in here. Obviously more livestock would be cool, so if you guys have any suggestions, drop it in the comments. I guess on to the next thing. Here's another spare tank that I'll mention in a second. These are all of my immersed grown plants. I started most of these from those little tissue cultures you get at like Petco. I've got some Rotala rotundifolia, this is the S. repens. I've got multiple different containers, and I've got one up here. It's all S. repens. I've got some Hygrophila deformis in that one. I'm definitely learning what they like. If they like brighter light, less light. It definitely changes based on not being in the water, like submersed. In the aquarium, obviously the light gets dispersed as it's going down through the water, so everything out of water is a lot brighter. Rotala rotundifolia, Lindarina rotundifolia. Some in there. It's actually got flowers on it. It's flowering. Got some more Hygrophila deformis, Rotala bonsai in the back. I have Java moss. Got this little paper towel on top because it is too bright for the moss. I haven't got a dimmer for these lights either. That would be definitely helpful. Some narrowleaf Java fern and some Windelov Java fern. Also got my red root floaters. I've sold quite a few, so I'm kind of down to not very many. That light's usually on, but I think sometimes they don't grow as fast if the light and nutrient levels aren't balanced, so I gave this a little bit of a break because I wanted to repopulate a little bit so I can get back to selling my normal quantity on eBay. Got some Ludwigia arcuata, the Alternanthera renacii, and then we had the Alternanthera renacii mini up there. Got some glossostigma in here, trying to get this to spread. Some of this stuff, it does really well in Monte Carlo. It does really well in like by weeks. Sometimes it's doing good and something changes, be the temperature. A lot of these containers get really hot. I got some gnats going on in there. I think that could be one of the reasons why some of these plants, they almost melt in here sometimes. And I think it's due to the bacteria in the soil, and so when the bacteria breaks things down, it generates heat. Obviously the light, has a greenhouse effect in these containers, but I think the bacteria itself produces heat, and so occasionally I open these up and let some fresh air in. I could put a little air line in each of them with some fresh air that would sort of recirculate. They need more carbon dioxide in here to make them grow faster.
How dare you?
And then coming over here, this stand I built. This is a 60-gallon tank, which I thought was a 75-gallon. This is a 60-gallon. Really awkward dimensions. I want to plant the thing, have it be a planted tank. It's just really awkward, so I'm not, shape-wise, I'm not exactly sure what I want to do with this one yet. I'll tell you my plans in a minute, but this stand I made so that it could fit this tank, obviously, but it can also fit a 75-gallon, 90-gallon, 110 gallons. All the sizes fit on here, so I can upgrade in the future, get a different tank, but this is on here for now because I have it. Under the tank, I got some Convict cichlids from a friend the other week, and I had them probably 3 days, and they laid eggs, and I kind of didn't think they would live, but I think most of them lived. They're a really easy fish to breed. You don't really need to breed them. They do all the breeding. So we've got a bunch of fish in here. I should have cleaned the glass so you can see, but I do not intend on keeping these fish. There are so many. The parents probably won't come out because they see the camera. The females are really pretty. I would have a tank just females if I could. So I don't know how long I want to wait until the babies grow up to see which sex they are, but I definitely won't be keeping all of those. So I have a tank down here of more Anubias. Growing some duckweed on the top to feed the goldfish. We've got goldfish. We got these from my girlfriend's work. Somebody dropped them off at a pond, and every year the place she works, they drain their ponds. They would either have to take the goldfish inside and keep them probably in a little bowl, which obviously wouldn't be cool, or we could take them, and I've got them in this temporarily until we get a better place for them. And now of course I want koi. These are just goldfish, but that yellow one's cool. So yeah, they're in like a 35-gallon tub. So in terms of future projects, the other week I went on a Facebook Marketplace adventure, which I really don't like Facebook Marketplace.
Oh, look at that, not bad. Good size.
It was mainly my fault because I didn't confirm the size of the tank before I went to get it. But if you're looking on Facebook Marketplace for fish tanks and someone says that they have a fish tank, it's this size, and it's a bigger fish tank, so it's sort of hard to tell the size, get them to take measurements of the tank, because on this post this guy said he had a 180-gallon fish tank. I haggled him down to about $200, which would have been a pretty good deal on this aquarium. 180-gallon tank. He had another post that said it was a 170-gallon tank, which I don't think they make a 170. And then he had another, the description of the main post, he said that it was a 190. Between 170 and 190 I was happy with. So I get there to pick it up, to look at it, and I swear to God it looked bigger than my 125. But it's a 125. It was in good condition, pretty good condition, so removing some mineral deposits and cleaning the glass. There's a few scratches that I might try to buff out. I want to make a video about cleaning fish tanks using various types of cleaners, as well as how to remove mineral deposits and maybe how to repair scratches in glass. That I think will be a future video. So that's the 125. I'm thinking I will put it here, and then so I'm thinking we'll have this 6-foot tank. There's room for another 6-foot tank on the other side eventually if I wanted to put 2 of them. But I've also got an empty 20-gallon, and down there you really can't see it, but there's an empty 50-gallon. So for now we could put a 125 here on the left. We could put a 50-gallon on the stand, maybe even a 50 and then another 50 below, something like that. But for this 125, I really want another saltwater tank, and I think I want to do some predatory fish. Maybe larger angels, a shark or 2, some small sharks, maybe a puffer, various fish. Basically fish that I wouldn't put in a reef tank, which I do want this current 125 to eventually have corals. It might not be that exact tank, I might replace it, but those fish and the rock and the sand, everything, basically everything in the tank would just be upgraded, if not that tank. Basically that's gonna potentially be the reef tank, and then back here I think I want to do a predator tank. And I also want to drill it. It's not drilled, doesn't have any holes, and I don't like overflow boxes. I won't use one again. It's so annoying. So I want to do a video, maybe the same video as the tank cleaning, but I want to do a video, either it's a vlog or whatever, on drilling the tank and installing everything that you need for that. It'll be fun though. And then over here we got some reptiles in here. We've got a box turtle in here, which we will feed. Get some shrimp with some vitamins on it. This guy's like the most picky eater I have ever seen. I try to feed him all kinds of things. Vegetables. He definitely likes meat and he likes tomatoes. There's really not a whole lot he likes to eat. I got him from someone who really didn't feed them their natural diet, so he was probably eating just a handful of things, and so now he's definitely picky. Sometimes he'll have some squash, sometimes I don't know if I've ever seen him eat lettuce. And so I'm wondering if maybe, and especially because these guys live so long, I don't want him to go his whole life and not have a nutritious diet. And I don't also really know how old he is, so he could be 10 years old, maybe 20 years old. They live quite a long time. I'd say at least 60 years. So I want this guy to eat good food. And so I had a thought, if I get a tortoise or another turtle or whatever, land turtle, it's not a tortoise, but if I get like a sulcata tortoise, redfoot, or a cherryfoot, some kind of tortoise, I wonder if having another one which would eat the things that I want this guy to eat, I wonder if seeing the other turtle interact with the food and giving him something to look at, like as a role model. Does anyone have any experience with that? If you do, let me know in the comments, because I want to teach this guy how to eat better, but I don't know how to do it. So I guess help me out with that. And this thing I built, by the way, this is the turtle spot in the top, and the lower section is for the monitor. We've got a Savanah Monitor. He's a couple of years old. I built this thing a few years ago. Try to give him enough room. It's probably like 2 by 2 by 6 at least. The monitor also likes shrimp. Whoa, bro. Whoa, bro. I've got one more. This guy is not picky. He will eat anything. He will eat, okay, not vegetables, but he will eat anything. And then right to the left of this tank is my breeding rack, which I built in a previous video. A little suggestion of maybe make it a little wider, because if I had made this 1 centimeter less wide, I couldn't fit 4 tanks in here. So that's a little side note. On the bottom, we have a 40 breeder with some angelfish that need to be homed. It's been really hard trying to find homes for these. Probably bringing these guys to the local fish store and selling them for store credit, something like that. I thought this would be a little easier to sell, but you can't. I don't want to ship them. I really don't want to do that. And you can't sell live animals on Facebook, which would be the ideal way to do it. I haven't had much luck in Facebook groups. These, along with my white cloud mountain minnows, will probably go for store credit at the fish store. Really funny story about my hillstream loaches. I have this 10-gallon tank with 2 hillstream loaches, male and female. Originally I had these white cloud minnows in here in this tank with the hillstream loaches, and I thought maybe the white cloud minnows are eating the fry of the hillstream loaches, which was the main breeder I had in this tank. I wanted hillstream loach babies. I haven't seen anything for 2 weeks, a month, probably about actually 2 months. Well, since I've had them, no fry. Haven't seen anything at all. And then I heard that the fry are particularly nocturnal. So I came out at night, looked really hard, and I think I saw 1, maybe 2 fry. They were so small, I could barely tell what they were. I mean, they were fry, they weren't some other little bug or whatever. They were fry, but it was a week or so after that, I really wanted to do a water change and clean some of the gunk off the bottom. So I figured I would go slow, and I was siphoning the bottom, watching the water as it was coming up to see if I could see any fry. No fry. I didn't think I saw any. Okay, and then I'm worried that there was fry in there. So I've got my water bin that I put all my dirty fish water in, that I water plants with, just in case there'd be any fish in there. I put the water in there, and then the next day I looked. I think I used some water for some plants. I didn't see anything. This morning, I lifted up the lid to get some water for some plants. and I saw little hillstream loach babies. They're thriving in here. I think I counted 4 of them. There's one. Oh my gosh, there's even more. Bro. Do you see this? So I'm like, what do I do with them now? They're in this bucket, and they've gotten, if these were the same fry that I saw in there, they're so much bigger than the fry that were in that tank. If there's still fry in there, they're not this big. So they must need more food. I feed them, I put algae wafers, there's algae in there for them to eat. So I'm like, do I just leave them in the bucket? I really don't want to. I'll probably try and move them to another tank that has more algae. I could actually probably put them in my 5.5 gallon. This was supposed to be done. This was supposed to be in a video that should have come out already. I wanted to get red crystal shrimp or black crystal shrimp, and I just haven't done that yet. And the algae got a little bit out of control, and I like to solve problems naturally in the best way that I can without using chemicals, or even if I can solve the problem without using like physical removal, because obviously algae is caused by an imbalance, and it's not an imbalance of toothbrushes in the tank pulling the algae out. It's an imbalance of light or an imbalance of nutrients. So if you can fix those imbalances, then the algae will go away. So I've been trying to deal with that, not really full time. As you can probably see the tank next to it, which I did in a video. This tank is doing really well. We've got Neocaridina cherry shrimp in here, as well as a few little white cloud mountain minnow fry. They look, when they're babies, they look like little tetra. They look like neon tetras or cardinal tetras or something like that. They're just so cute, and they've got that little blue neon line that goes down their body and their little red tail. So anyway, yeah, this tank's looking really good. This is a 3.5 gallon. Grass is looking pretty good. I kind of wish I had only used one species of grass. We've got Eleocharis parvula, which is just the best grass. It's the shortest. It doesn't need super high lighting. It doesn't need CO2. It grows pretty quickly. It's the best dwarf hairgrass in my opinion. And then we've got some dwarf sage, and I planted that in the back under the hydrocotyl Japan. That is sort of where I wanted it to grow up, but it's really staying pretty compact because of, I think, how the lighting and nutrients are. It's just spreading, which is good, and it also adds some variation to the grass, so I guess it adds a natural look, I guess. This boost is really cool. This is the first boost that I've had, and the leaves just have this like little, it's like a sparkly white appearance. There's little flecks on the leaves. They're variegated, or not really variegated. Each of the leaf is sort of a different color. There's dark leaves, and then there's brighter green leaves. The stems, when they start out, they're like red. It's a really cool plant. Shrimp are doing well. Shrimp are doing very well. Breeding. Let's see if we can find some babies. There's a baby. It's a somewhat big baby. See if we can find a tiny baby. Oh, there's a tiny baby. On the boost. There it is. We have some more angelfish. These are little babies. Second batch after these first ones. This one really just has snails and white cloud mountain minnows in it. Some fry white clouds. They're so small, they look like little neons. Next thing, I want to feed some fish, and I also want to sample some of that algae under the microscope, find out what saltwater, whatever that is in the saltwater tank. And then I'm going to remove some red root floaters, and that'll probably wrap up the video. So let's do that. Cannot forget the shrimp. Right now I'm feeding baby shrimp and Bacter AE. I'm going to do the Bacter AE today. They love this stuff. It's like shrimp cocaine. These guys, they're crazy. And it'll sink over time so they can get it at the bottom too. I don't have a real top for this tank. Just have these sheets of glass on top that I need to cut. I need to cut to fit, and then I can use them as proper tank lids. I just haven't cut them yet. And so I'm gonna take some red root floaters out. These could potentially have snails or snail eggs, so I don't sell these, as well as whatever else is in this tank. The ones I sell are snail and pest free, so these are just gonna get put in the compost. But yeah, I'm gonna look under here and make sure I don't see any snails or any other plants that might have come up from the bottom and gotten stuck, and just harvest all the red root floaters out and put them in this, and then put them in the compost. That's pretty much it. That's about how much I leave, and then in like 2 weeks the whole top will be covered again, maybe even less than that. And if you don't have a skimmer, like if you don't have a surface skimmer, let me show you a quick tip to easily remove all of this surface film. You won't believe this. All you need is a spray bottle and some water. It is a thing that's naturally occurring, so it probably will come back. But if you just spray the top with some water in like a squirt bottle, it'll remove it instantly. It might come back. It's just, that's like one of the easiest ways that I know how to remove surface film without a surface skimmer. And the alternative is like laying a paper towel on the surface and doing that multiple times, which is really silly because, well, it's wasteful and that takes a long time and it barely works. So spray bottle. You can already see how much more light is getting through. That is better. I'm gonna scrape the glass and then try to capture some of whatever's on the glass right there in the corner. Maybe even some from the glass and some from the sand. And then we're gonna take a look under the microscope and see what it looks like. Alright, so I left a couple patches. I left a patch there, and I left a patch over here so I can scrape it, and I'll put it into these cups. That just looks a little different than this, so I'm going to make sure I don't accidentally not grab the right thing. So hard to catch this stuff. Okay, let's see what we can see. These two different ones look different. Take our sample, our little stringy guy, put him on there. It's very hard to tell what this is, mainly because I don't know what I'm looking for. So if you compare photos online of like red slime algae, cyanobacteria, to this, it looks very similar. So it looks like it's cyanobacteria, which means that would be low flow, not enough lighting, too many nutrients, too high phosphate. I really didn't think my nutrients were that high when I tested it, which could mean my test kit is bad. Cyanobacteria can also like trap phosphates, so your phosphates might not actually be elevated, but they're just holding on to a lot of it, so whatever they've used for growth, they've absorbed. It sounds like blue leg hermit crabs and urchins will eat cyanobacteria. There's not really a fish that eat red slime algae. I thought I heard that cyanobacteria can kill invertebrates, but apparently there are some that eat cyanobacteria, so we'll try to get the nutrient levels to the proper level. I guess I'll test again and see exactly what, if I can confirm that my nutrients are lower. They might be elevated just enough for cyanobacteria. I really never had a problem with this before, not running a skimmer, and I don't have a skimmer. So probably some of you were like, wow, you have cyanobacteria, obviously because you have no skimmer.
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
So I guess that might be something I need to invest in as well. I didn't really see the need before because, again, my nutrients were really low. I guess the solution would be lower nutrients, get a protein skimmer, get some invertebrates, increase the flow, fix my lighting. It's gonna be pretty expensive, but it's worth it and it's for the channel. That will be a future video, as well as leave your comments below. What do you think I should put in the 125, the new 125 tank that I bought? I was thinking saltwater, larger predatory fish, but I'm definitely open to suggestions, as well as what do you think I should put in the 60 gallon? I was thinking larger freshwater fish, because I've got some nano tanks. I've got a decent community tank of freshwater fish. We've got the saltwater, which could eventually have corals. So I'm thinking larger saltwater fish, and then we don't really have any larger freshwater fish. So give me your suggestions for that. Or initially I was going to plant it. It's completely up in the air. But these are going to be the next videos. I'm trying to hit one video every 2 weeks. This is going to be my new goal. I want this channel to do well, and I want to keep uploading consistently. So thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.